grade. Today we're going to work on lesson 12-5, multiplying a fraction and a whole number. Yesterday you did it with models. Today we're going to do it with the standard algorithm, just by multiplying. Let's look in your workbook on page 191. Okay, the first part says to rewrite the expression in the whole number with the whole number as a fraction. Remember that I told you when you write a whole number as a fraction, it means that you take the whole number, like if I look at number 2, 32 times 2/3. To write a whole number as a fraction, you make 1 the denominator. So 32 over 1 is 32 as a fraction. And then times 2/3. Now, when we multiply fractions, we just multiply the numerators and we multiply the denominators. So 32 times 2 equals 64. And then 1 times 3 is 3. 64/3. But I can't leave it as an improper fraction. I need to change that to a mixed number. Remember, we divide. So if I take 64 divided by 3, 3 goes into 6 twice. 2 times 3 is 6. And then bring down my 4. 3 goes into 4 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. With 1 left over, so that 1 would be 1/3. So 21 1/3 is what 32 times 2/3 equals. 21 1/3. Okay, let's do another one. There, let me look at number 7. It says 11 times 5/8. And this is on 191. 11 times 5/8. So I'm going to rewrite 11 as a fraction. 11 over 1 times 5/8. Multiply my numerators. 11 times 5 equals 55. 1 times 8 equals 8. Then I need to divide. 8 goes into 55 6 times because 6 times 8 is 48. Then I have 7 left over, so 6 7/8. Okay, now let's go to 192 because that's the page that you're going to be working on. I was just doing some examples on 191. Okay, so the first part says rewrite the expression as the product of two fractions, then multiply. Write your answer as a whole number or a mixed number if needed. Okay, you're doing the same thing on both parts. 1 through 10, the same thing. You're just multiplying. So let's look at number 1. 9 times 4/6. This is 192. Number 1. 9 times 4/6. So I'll rewrite that as 9 over 1 times 4/6. And then I'll multiply. 9 times 4 equals 36. 1 times 6 equals 6. And 6 goes into 36 6 times with nothing left over. So number 1, the product is 6. But you need to make sure you show your work. Okay, and let's go down to the second part. Number 5. You have 24 times 3/4. So make 24 a fraction. 24 over 1 times 3/4. Now you have to multiply 24 times 3. So write that out off to the side. Okay, so we have 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So that equals 72. And then 1 times 4 is 4. So 72/4. But you need to divide to change that to a mixed number or a whole number. So we'll do 72 divided by 4. So 4 goes into 7 once. 1 times 4 is 4. I subtract, and then bring down my 2. 4 goes into 32 8 times. 8 times 4 is 32. So that time I got a whole number. 72/4 equals 18. Okay, so you do 1 through 10 the same way. Change your whole number to a fraction. Just make 1 the denominator, and then just multiply numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. Okay, and then you have 2 word problems. Number 11 says, of the 30 students in Taylor's class, 2/10 are left-handed. How many are right-handed? Okay, so you need to think about that. So let's draw a bar. Okay, there are 30 students in Taylor's class. That's our total. 30. Okay, so 2/10 are left-handed, which means that the rest of them are left-handed. Are right-handed. Okay, so if we have tenths, let's make this into tenths. Okay, if 2/10 are left-handed, that would be right here, left-handed, left-handed. Okay, then all of these must be right-handed, everyone else. Okay, and I can see that I have 10 sections there. So 3 goes in each section because 30 divided by 10 is 3. Okay, so 6 would be left-handed, and then we have 8 sections of 3, which would be right-handed, 24. So 24 students are right-handed. Okay, another way you can do that is to say 2/10 of 30, of means multiply. So 2/10 times 30, which would be 30 over 1, and that equals 60 over 10, 60/10, which equals 6. Okay, and then we know there were 30 students. These would be the left-handed. 30 minus 6 would be 24, or right-handed. Okay, and then number 12. Says Morton says that when a non-zero whole number is multiplied by 3/2, the answer is always greater than the whole number. Well, let's try it out. Let's take 3/2 times 8. Make that 8 over 1. Okay, 3 times 8 is 24. 2 times 1 is 2. That equals 12. Okay, that's greater than 8 that we started with. Okay, let's take 3/2 times 6. Okay, so we'll rewrite that as 3/2 times 6 over 1. And then multiply 3 times 6 is 18. 2 times 1 is 2. That equals 9. 9 is greater than 6. So yes, when you multiply by 3/2, a whole number by 3/2, you will get a number greater than what you started with because 3/2 equals 1 and 1/2. And anything times 1 is the same number. We're multiplying by something bigger than 1. So we're going to get a number greater than what we started with. So I started with 8 and I got 12. I started with 6 and I got 9. So yes, when you multiply 3/2 by a whole number, you get a number greater than the whole number.